Have you ever stopped to wonder, do gorons have rocks down there? You know, like dicks? And if so, are we talking rock roast or a full-on boulder breaker situation?
What is wrong with you?
The kingdom of Hyrule is home to a diverse set of inhabitants that range from the human-like Hylians, the kind-hearted rock giants, aquatic fish folk, bird people, and so much more. Their presence in the Legend of Zelda series is very large, and their importance to Link and his adventures are somewhat a staple to the franchise at this point. But with such a key role, we're still left with a few questions on how these whimsical Hyrulians come to be. Like, do gorons have sex? Well, luckily for you, I'm here to answer that exact question and get to the bottom of what's on everyone's mind.
This isn't important to anyone!
The first race we'll be looking at today is the Hylians. Hylians and real-life humans function identically to one another. And if you clicked on this video and still haven't had the birds and the bees conversation, you should probably click off this video right now, champ. Wait, no, this is a perfect opportunity to educate the youth. I've always wanted to be an educator. Alright kids, my name is Professor Toxic Triforce, and today we're gonna learn some important biology. Now when a mommy and a daddy love each other very much, they— Toxic! The Zora race are aquatic fish humanoids that via games like Majora's Mask have been seen to lay eggs. Although many female members of the race also have big fat fucking tits, which would drive some people to assume that they also have humanoid genitalia as well. Well folks, that just isn't the case.
Where are the nipples?
From the research I've done, there isn't any fish that can lactate, so I think we're looking at one of those platypus situations where they share traits with both mammals and fish. And if we're looking at how sea animals work in the real world, then they most likely have this neat little hole called a cloaca. The female fish releases unfertilized eggs from it while the male shoots their, semen you get it? Onto the egg while in the water. And the deed itself probably looks like this. A number of days later, and boom, a baby Zora is born. I must apologize to all those Sidon simps out there. Sidon does not have a wiener, and instead a smelly hole full of piss, shit, and any other bodily fluid you can think of. Looks like Prince Sidon is off limits. Unless, you're into that kind of thing.
Well...
Dude! You might assume that all gorons are male due to them referring to each other as brother and using he/him pronouns. Well, you'd be wrong. This is confirmed from the mouth of the script director of Ocarina of Time, Toru Osawa. When asked in a 1999 interview if there are female gorons, script director Toru Osawa said this: "There are, but it's difficult to tell them apart. Both males and females refer to themselves with masculine pronouns." So with that said, yes, there are such things as female gorons. Now here's the real question on everyone's mind. Do they have genitals? This isn't 100% confirmed, but I'll assume they do since they wear groin wrap coverings in most of their in-game appearances. But in Tears of the Kingdom, it's stated that gorons are born from the land, and suggests that they are just randomly born from rocks inside caves. So as vague as it is, we can confidently say that they don't reproduce naturally, and their genitals would be unrelated to reproduction. But then why are there separate sexes if neither sex is needed for procreating? As much research as I've done, I can't figure this one out. It would be a total anomaly and would be wildly unnecessary. Unless having two sexes would serve a different biological or social function, but there is zero evidence of such. So at this point, we've hit a dead end. What we can guess, though, is that their genitalia is probably just used to pee. To piss. And as for their nipples, let's just say that they are very tiny volcanoes. I'm happy to say that gorons having huge monster cocks is still on the table, so we won't rule that out. The Gerudo. They function just like humans. The only difference is that one male is born into the race every 100 years. So when the female Gerudo come of age, they have to leave the desert to search for a possible mate, usually Hylian males. I do wonder though how Gerudo keep their distinct features and traits with so much race mix. Maybe they just have tons of babies that one male every 100 years. It's possible that even with one male born every 100 years, the Gerudo maintain their distinct traits through selective breeding. The mix of different races like Hylians could still allow Gerudo features to persist through generations if certain traits are prioritized.
Wait, so there's only one male every 100 years? Boy, the social pressure alone.
The Korok. They simply don't reproduce. It is said that they were created by the Great Deku Tree for whatever reason, but they won't grow up and they won't reproduce. They will simply evolve throughout the possibly infinite amount of years they have in this world. And lastly, the Rito. Ritos are obviously based off birds, so it only makes sense to assume that this race of avian humanoids function the same way anatomically. With that said, just like the Zoras, these feathered freaks also have a neat little hole called a cloaca. Although the deed plays out differently than the Zoras. The egg at all times until fertilized stays put. The male Rito rubs his swollen on the females, and then the bird goo travels through the chambers and the egg is fertilized. Most bird species lay an egg 1 or 2 days after fertilization. However, for some bird species, it can take longer than that. Regardless, after the egg is laid, it's then sat on by the mother Rito until it hatches, which can take anywhere between 10 to 30 days. It's hard to determine what type of bird species the Rito is based off of because of the variety of different Ritos showing features and characteristics of owls, macaws, eagles, and falcons. So we'll just vaguely describe how Rito reproduction plays out in the most simplest form without getting too specific. What we're looking at is basically 2 birds aggressively rubbing butts together until an egg happens. Just some good old-fashioned bird intercourse.
Did you really just say good old-fashioned bird intercourse?
Okay, I may have lied. I didn't cover every race in Hyrule, just the ones that made major appearances in the last 2 Zelda titles. There are plenty more like the Deku, Sheikah, Menish, Magma, Zonai, Kikwi, Twilight, Perella, and even Fairies, all with their own unique anatomy. Way too many to fit into one video. But if you want a part 2, let me know in the comments.